Welcome back, Top Shelf, to the next episode of Roleplay Reels. This week's podcast features SupremeBulla, whom you may know in the city as Bulla Bulla, Adam Saver, and someone I thankfully have yet to cross paths with, Henrey Kreel. Bulla, welcome to Roleplay Reels.
Thank you so much for having me, honestly. It's a pleasure to be here. It's actually an honor to be here, believe it or not.
An honor. Don't go too far. It's just a little podcast.
Oh, no, I
But I
listen to them, and
appreciate
they're
it.
pretty
Thank you. So let's start off, what I pretty much ask everybody at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, like, my character as in Bulla?
Whatever, no, more about yourself.
Oh, all right. So, normally, my name's Evan, and just, normal person. I help my grandmother out. I live with her, just help her out, normal deal. And I have my girlfriend with me. I play GTA normally on my off days when, like, I'm not super busy working and then dealing with everything at my house. It's just, I find as though, like, when I'm playing GTA RP, like, it's like the perfect, like, distraction away from reality almost. Like, I could go there and know that, like, it's like a safe haven for, like, I know it's stress free and I'm gonna have the most fun no matter what I'm doing.
How did you get into it? How'd you first get started in RP?
When I first get started, I was watching Summit on Twitch, and when Summit was on Twitch, he was streaming No Pixel, and when I was watching it, I was looking at it and how much fun he was having with the whole like interaction with people, and I was playing Fortnite at that time, and it wasn't as fun as it looked because RP itself was just so it looks so fun because GTA within itself is an amazing game. And now that we have like this whole basis where you could talk to other people, buy cars from other people, like go to like a mechanic shop and like actually talk to a real person that's a mechanic or get into a real chase with a cop. I love that whole interaction with people and like you got to choose your story, like you made the decisions. Like that was just my favorite thing that what made me want to start playing RP.
How did you find Top Shelf?
So when I started Top Shelf, I was first in a server that I think it's no longer here anymore, but I think it's called Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in there for a little while and I met a couple people there. And that's when I started like really growing to like starting the RP interactions, like one on one, how much a one on one interaction of RP truly is to a person compared to like a big group because before I was in that server, I was in a server with like 300 people compared to like 20. And that whole dynamic with 300 compared to like 25 or 30 people is so much different because no matter where you go, you're going to get like an intense some popularity with people. And I love the whole like when you go there, there's only going to be like 3 or 4 or 5 people, how it truly should be. And when I searched Top Shelf RP, like I didn't search it, but I was scrolling through like the server list and I saw Top Shelf as like a server that looked really good. Like everything looked based, like it had a good structure, everything was perfect on it. And I was like, you know what, this could be my next home. And I started coming here and I introduced a couple people from my old server onto my new one. And honestly, from there on, I fell in love with Top Shelf because of all the people there.
Interesting. So you actually just found it through the server list.
Yeah, I was scrolling through, believe it or not, and I happened to find it and I clicked it
That's
because
amazing.
I went through other servers, but they all weren't like it wasn't like the same. It didn't have like the same like vibe almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Do you have like a specific thought process you go through with your RP and coming up with stories and how you want to take your characters?
So when I go through like for instance, one of my characters I have is like Henrey Kreel, and if anyone doesn't know who Henrey Kreel is, it's a one of the main antagonists from Stranger Things, and how I go about it is I go about like how he is as a character in the story. So if he was to do like how he's calm, cool, and collective as Henry, I would try to be calm, cool, collective. And I know some people like could be crazy and wild and like want to tackle you. You just gotta, and I go with the staying calm and like with every situation that happens, I try to go with the flow almost, if that makes sense. So I try to like with each interaction, I try to figure out like what's going to be the next step if I say this, or if I do this, what are the possibilities or the outcomes of this happening? Like if I was to pull my gun out on this cop and aim it at him, if this, what kind of cop is this? Is this the type of cop that will shoot me on spot, or is this the type of cop that like want to talk to me and try to put it away? Or like an interaction with like the Vagos, it could be something like that with another game. I just always try to think a step ahead of the thing.
Okay. So you mentioned Vagos, of which your Bulla Bulla character is a member. How did you end up becoming involved with the Vagos?
So when it all started is when I joined the city, I was Bulla Bulla and I was just there, just walking around, perfect like how I am talking right now, just perfect how we are. And I went to I'm pretty sure we were at a court case, and you could correct me, but it was the guy that was he went for like he was acting like he had a super deep voice, and he went to jail for like the longest time.
Abraham Otis.
Yep, there you go. And he was there, and I was looking behind me, and I saw Jose and Martine just cracking jokes and wicked funny, and I loved like that.
See.
Yeah, see, hola vato, how are you doing today? Just how they talk and how they communicate is just so awesome, and I like their energy, so I joined. And then I noticed that like some of the things that they were doing was like they were a gain, but there was stuff that we could improve to the game to bring us to the next level. And I showed them that we could do certain things, or like we can control like the rats have the gun rain, and why don't we try to control the drug rain? And because the drugs could be a really big thing, because if everyone walks around and if anyone wants crystal meth, we could be that people to give it to them. And I just wanted to like help them and bring them to the next level. And when talking to Martine and Jose and Ethan and Sophia, they all became like a big gang to me. Like they're all
So
just a big family almost.
so did you change your character's persona, or did he? I mean, you did, but did you like remake, not physically remake, but
Kind
remake your
of.
character, or is it the same person and he's just
He was the
changed
same.
himself to be accepted into the Vagos community?
He was so when I ultimately entered, he was the same person, but just I try to go along with the Vagos, and when I went with the Vagos, I went with I grew up there, and so I kind of altered how my storyline went. I'm not gonna lie, because how when I started, I didn't know where I was gonna go with Bulla. I didn't know if he wanted to be, because last time in my other city, Bulla B was a cop, and he was one of the head cops in the city. So I didn't know where I wanted my character to go in what direction. And but when I met Martine and all of them, I decided that like this could be the direction, because normally why don't I switch up the the flow, because I was a good person helping out everyone as Bullet B. Now he went to a new city and he joined the Vagos, and he's all like with the Vagos, speaking with them, helping them, doing whatever they can, bringing all the tools and necessities he can need.
Interesting. Do you have um, a favorite story that you've either been a part of yourself or that you've watched through, um, you know, somebody else's Twitch
Mm.
stream or videos or something?
One of my favorite, honestly, that I would have to enjoy, there was a couple that I really liked. I loved the arc that Damien had with the assassin, the Cuban assassin.
Mm-hmm.
I loved how long that went, because I loved how much he pushed it. And then when I met the Cuban assassin, in my head, when I found out it was Damien, I went fucking crazy. I just went absolutely bonkers, because I didn't know it was Damien for the longest time. I thought it was just some random person in the city that just came around and wanted to mess with this one group purposely just to be mean. And when I found out it was him, I was shocked. But one of my favorite, honestly, currently, I have to say one of my favorites is the one I'm working on with Henrey Kreel, what I'm doing with him. Because I love the direction that I'm going in with him and how the possibilities of the outcomes that could all happen without it.
So, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, Henry Creel is a character from Stranger Things. Are you taking elements from the show into the character, or are you just kind of using him as a using that story of him in Stranger Things as a way to get started?
So I'm trying to take elements from his show. So I have like a voice changer on my computer, and I have different clips of him talking on YouTube, and I put it onto my voice changer. So whenever I'm in RP, I can play it through that. And I don't know if you know, but in the city, I've been going around playing like a clock sound to everyone.
I have yet to
And
hear it, so
yeah, it's really creepy. And I just want to try to spread the word that there's a clock going around and that Henry's coming, that he already has one victim and he just needs three more. And then, like, the Demogorgon comes out and just goes out and he'll just go on a rampage. Like, that's what the direction, that's just that's just the base of what I want to do. But
hmm.
there's going to be specific details in between that I'm going to go along with the story that's just going to be like with the flow, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, it could all change, like, that's how I want it to go, but it could all change. I could be Henry Creel, and as I'm killing my first person, they hit me with a gun and shoot me, and I die. You know what I mean? It happens. I just gotta understand that, like, that's just the direction of how the RP is gonna go, and if that happens, what's my next step?
Interesting. I look forward to seeing how that plays out. Uh, we've got a couple minutes left. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about here with us?
People also ask me, like, about my name, Bulla,
Mm-hmm.
where, like, they originated from. A lot of people have asked me, like, where'd you come up with the name? And because it's such like a weird name, honestly. And how I came up with it, it was just like a childhood nickname. Like when I came up with, and when my sister gave it to me, she told me that like when she was younger, she called me it, and so it stuck with me for the rest of my life. And so I just decided to go with my character always has always been Bulla.
Awesome. Interesting. I have to say, I was always curious about it too. So, well, thanks, Bulla. Be sure to check out Supreme Bulla on Twitch. He's got a Twitch channel, and catch us here next week for another in-depth interview on a top shelf player. Thanks, everybody.